Welcome friends to You Can Handyman, where if I can do it, you definitely can. Let me start off by saying Happy New Year. It's Sunday, the 2nd. The Bills won today, secured a playoff spot. They're gonna win the Super Bowl. No, they probably are not going to, but hey, I'm a glutton for punishment. Been rooting for them for my whole life and haven't quit yet. So anyways, what do I got myself into? Fun. Saw one of these cooler serving outdoor carts at Costco. They're about 200 bucks, all plastic. It's nice, whatever, but I was like, let me try to build it. Will I pull it off? I don't know, guys, but we're gonna find out together. I'm gonna give it a try. All you can do is try. So let's take a look at what we have for tools and supplies, and then get after it. All right. So what we have here is I have a cooler. This cooler was up in the attic. I already started taking a couple things off. I just popped the handles off and the strap that goes there. So that's going to be the cooler in the cart. It's going to have some legs on it, and then I'm going to do another area off to the side for like cutting up lemons and limes and making cocktails and stuff. You can just make one the size of the cooler, you know, and then it's up off the ground, which is nice, you know, and it'll look nicer for when you have family over and guests and stuff like that. I'm just gonna do a little bit more, hopefully, we'll see. Tools. I got a circular saw, a sawzall, a drill, a square hammer, level. Oh, forgot it was there. Pencil. It was in my ear. It is a good place to keep it. If you set it down, you're gonna keep searching for it. Then we have some wood glue and screws. I bought some plumbing for the drain because this cooler doesn't have a drain on it. A handle and some hinges and whatnot. I was thinking about maybe trying to do like a little ice tote chest. If it works out, I'll probably wrap it out in insulation or something, but I'm not sure about that yet. We'll see how the first part goes, see if we can pull that off. For wood, I just bought some 1x4s, some 2x4s, some 1x2s. I probably bought too much. You can always return it. I'd rather have too much than not enough. You know, I just drew up something real quick. You know, there's a nook in my backyard that I'll show you guys where it's gonna go. It's a little over 4 feet wide, so I'm gonna do something. I think I'm gonna do 4 foot by 20 inches, I was thinking would be nice. And yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm gonna start off by making some legs. So I'm gonna throw some legs together, and then I'll show you how I did that, and we'll just keep on going and we'll see how it goes. All right, wish me luck. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, welcome back. I'm gonna do this last leg with you. I've already done 3. I'm just gonna show you what I did. I cut the 1x4s to 36 inches. Here's the 3 that are finished. 1, 2, 3. So what I did is I marked on this board where I want the screws, so they're all even. So now we're just gonna flip that one down. Let me see if I can get you kind of a shot here. Okay, we're gonna flip that one down. Take this, little bit of wood glue across this edge. Don't do a lot, otherwise it's gonna squeeze out. Just a little bit right down the center of wood glue. Okay, let's flip it over. All right, don't freak out if something's a little bit off. You know, that's what sandpaper's for. And you could always cut a couple more boards if it's that bad. It's just wood. It's just wood. At least that's what I keep telling myself. I honestly have not done a lot of like projects like this. I did build the bar in the back, which I'm going to show you guys that. That came out really cool. I think it's kind of like beginner's luck on that one, but all right. So I have it clamped. Now I'm using pine because this thing will not be out exposed to the elements. Even if it is, you can use pine. Just get yourself a really good exterior stain, and I mean put it on there. And then you got to get the underside. You got to get every spot of wood. You got to get stain on there. So I'm doing just a little bit of pre-drill. I'm using these finish nails that I've never used before, but I do like them. They're small. They're a lot less likely to crack the wood, and they got really small heads on them. I mean, this thing isn't carrying a ton of weight. Yes, there's going to be the cooler with some ice, but I mean, it's not a shelf. It's not. Okay, put this last one in there. All right, and we'll just show you one of these and what it looks like. So that's it. So 36 inch, then I'm gonna put caster wheels on it. You don't have to do that, it'll bring it up, but being pined off the ground is not a bad idea. And that's it, and there's our 4 legs. All right, I'll come back to you after I finish the next step. Welcome back, guys, to the project here. All right, let me show you where we're at. So I just have the legs attached to this framing. What I decided to do was on these boards, I went 46.5 inches, which gives me 4 feet from this edge to this edge. I wish I would have thought that through. I wish I would have taken 2 inches off, so I recommend 44.5 inches. That way it'll give you a 1 inch overhang on a 4-foot board. But I did think it through on the top. So these boards here, I cut to 15 3/4. So 6 of the 1x4s will give me a 1 inch overhang on each side. If you are new to working with wood, a 2x4 is not a 2x4, a 1x4 is not a 1x4. This is, they call it a 1x4, it's 3/4 by 3.5, I believe. So just pay attention to that. So what I did was I glued, I pre-drilled, and I'm screwing from the inside. That way you're not gonna see all the screws from the outside. And the way I did the legs in the front, you don't see these 3 screws that I did on the side that will probably get puttied anyways, but who knows. I'm gonna let the wife finish it the way she wants to. I don't know if she wants to match the bar or what she's gonna do. So now I gotta start putting thought into a whole bunch of stuff. So the cooler, let's see if I can do this. I gotta make a shelf basically below the cooler. I could hang it on these handles, but I might cut those off, I'm not sure yet. But I'd still do a shelf underneath the cooler because there's gonna be a little bit of weight to it. And then I want to decide if I'm going to do an ice bucket next to it, and if I'm gonna make it all one lid and then still have like a cutting board area right here. And then I was thinking about maybe making a rack here underneath for wine glasses, instead of just bringing the boards all the way across, down and over. But I got to think about that too. So this is going to be a while before I do my next step. I don't know if I mentioned, I glued, pre-drilled, and I got screws. I got 1.25 inch screws, and even with the pre-drill, you won't go through. You're good. So, and I want a beefier screw for on the inside. I just used the little guys for here, but I knew all this was going to beef it up anyways, and it would be fine. All right, so I know I at least got to do the sides down here to the bottom of the cooler to hide it. And yeah, I just got to really start thinking about how I'm going to do this and what the next step is. All right, guys, I'll be back. Alrighty, we're back. Let me show you where I'm at. So I have the table upside down, cooler upside down, and just been doing some figuring and taking me forever. You know, this isn't what I do. This is just for fun. I haven't built a ton of stuff in my life, so you know, I have to put a lot of thought into it. Otherwise, I'm going to waste a whole lot of wood. So this is what I came up with. I flipped it upside down. I put the cooler in there. I want the cooler flush to the top, but not with the lid on it. So the lid that I make for it's going to be raised. So I also left a little bit of room around it. I'm not going to give you these dimensions because it all depends on what size cooler you use. So all I did was cut the boards. I'm going to glue and screw into the legs. For some reason, I decided to keep with this theme of not seeing any screws, and I don't know why. It's kicking my butt, and I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get down to the lid, and I'm not going to be able to figure out not to see a screw. So what I did is I glued and screwed these together. I'm going to put those on the inside corners over here, so you won't see the screws. Once I'm done with that, I'll take some more of this 1x2. I'll figure out where it needs to go, and I'll run a strip across, glue and screw it, and then I'll run 3 across this way, and then the cooler will be in place. From there, I think I'm going to flip it over and figure out the lid, because that's going to be kind of difficult. And then I got to decide what I'm doing over here. I'll probably do a lower shelf all the way across. And then what I was thinking about is trying to make some wine glass hanger brackets out of these on this side for some wine glasses to hang upside down underneath there. Or maybe still throwing the idea around about doing a little ice chest next to it. But I think I'm going to X that. All right, guys, let me get back after it, and I'll be back. All right, guys, we're back. Let me show you where I'm at. I made a mistake, so that's good. You guys won't have to make it. All right, let me show you where I'm at. So I started boxing this in. I had it upside down up on the table, and I started boxing in the cooler. I had the cooler in there, figure out everything, and I went ahead and I did exactly that. I boxed it in when I should have, on the back side of it, ran the boards all the way across. I didn't do that, so you can see I seamed them in. Now this is the back side. It's not a huge deal, and I put this board here, but I should have ran full lengths back here. Wasn't thinking, you know, but that's how it goes. You know, I don't do this for a living. So, you know, you're going to make mistakes. No big deal. I can get a piece of trim in there. I can put some wood filler in there. I'll figure something out. It's not the end of the world. So, next up, we grab the cooler. I showed you guys some pictures. I took the handles off, sanded those down. I also sanded off these little nubs that holds on the cooler. This is not the best cooler to use for this project. I'm learning real quick, but I'm not stopping now. So that's it. You know, we're getting there. So I think next, which is going to be a little difficult to figure out, but I think I'm going to start on the lid. Figure out how I'm going to do that. And then this will be just the top. And then, like I said, maybe we'll do some racks to hold some wine glasses underneath. I think would be nice. And then maybe a shelf at the bottom. It's a little high, and I have to put the casters on yet, but that's not a big deal. You know, if the wife wants it lower, I'll take the casters off. I'll cut down the legs. Boom, it's lower. No big deal. Just wood. All right, guys, I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. This went pretty smooth, I think. Let me show you where I'm at. So what I decided to do was cut the top pieces, you know, all the way across. Instead of, this cooler isn't perfectly rectangular. It's got some curvature to it. So instead of trying to cut these boards around it and figure that out, that would have been very tough. What I decided to do was lay them out on top, cut them, lay them out on top, measure, make sure I got the right amount of overhang all the way around. Then I just got underneath and I traced it out. Then what I did is I just took these, so when I flip it on there, you know, it'll go down into here and hold it in place. I didn't go right to the line. Maybe I should have went a little bit tighter. I just didn't want to have to force it in there and keep messing with it. A little wiggle room won't kill me. I could always put a couple L brackets, little metal L brackets in the front where you can't see it. The only thing I ran into is I wasn't paying attention and I had a warped board in there, but I'll figure something out on that. So let's see how it fits. Get you where you can see it there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's got a little bit more slop in it. Like that's all right. Like I said. So that went good. I definitely do it like that. I'm gonna waste some wood when I cut this out, and it's actually, now I'm going to be short one piece. I'm going to be short one piece because I'm going to cut this out and I'll be wasting these, and those are the pieces that would have went on top of the cooler. But now what I could do, now I could do that, and then what I could do is trace it out, cut that out, and then I'll have a really good, nice fit. The other issue I have is I don't have like a little reciprocating saw. I might be able to do it with my Sawzall, but I think that's it for me for tonight. I'm gonna try to call it quits. I have a really hard time stopping projects when I'm in the middle. I get obsessed and just want to keep going, but all right, we'll get back after it. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. Day 2. Let me show you where I'm at. All right, so I cut the top for the cooler. These pieces over here, what I'm doing is I'm just gluing some pieces together, and then I'll trace it out and cut it. My wood clamp wasn't big enough. I used this strap, which seems to be working fine. It was a little tough, but it's working good, so that should be fine. And then I'll have this done. Because of this cooler design with this flap, I don't recommend get one that's designed like this. I think I'm gonna have to bring it up. Otherwise the lid's not gonna open. So this will be flush, this will be over the top, and then I'll have to build a top for it. It's just gonna be kind of thick. I don't think it'll be a huge deal. And I also decided to go, instead of doing ice, to do a wine rack. Wine glass rack. So how I'm doing that is I bought some of this, which is probably 3/4. Yeah, 3/4 by 3/4. This here is 2.5 by 3/4. And what I'm doing is I'm going to pre-drill, glue, screw this here like I did this one. and then pre-drill and glue this to it. So we will end up with this, and then you'll be able to take the glass and slide it in. So I'm going to finish up that. I'm going to finish up the top over on that side, and then I'm either going to start on the top, the wood top, or I'm also going to do a little shelf down here at the bottom. And I was thinking about a wine bottle rack, and then maybe liquor on the other side, but who knows? Just, you know, coming up with ideas as I go. You know, I don't do a shit ton of pre-planning, as you could probably tell. I just kind of wing it, and I think that's what makes it fun. Okay, I'll be back, guys. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I got the wine holder done. I'll show you that. Came out good. Another thing I want to point out, so you guys don't make the same mistake, I cut this side off to make it nice and even. I probably should have done that here, but no big deal. I'm fine with it. You know, like I've said 1,000 times, I'm an amateur. What's cool is, even though this goes up, there's no way for the glass to fall out of there other than sliding out the front. So I think that worked out pretty cool. I probably maybe would have centered it too, but again, I'm good with it. I cut out the boards around the cooler and I'm gluing them because I don't want to run a board underneath and be able to see it. So I'm gonna try wood glue. You'd be really surprised on how well wood glue will hold. You know, my hole's not perfect by any means, but the cover is, you won't see that. The only time you see is when you open it. I'm not gonna flip out about it. So now I'm ripping down the 1x4s to the height that I need. I don't have a table saw, so this is how I do that, is, you know, get your line. Let me set this camera up here. Okay. So you get your line on there, you know, set it up where you're comfortable cutting. You know, if it's this way or if you're a lefty this way. I'm just gonna take my clamp. I'm gonna clamp the far side and take your time. Otherwise, you're gonna have a crazy line. I'll cut this one real quick because I have to redo this one because I went too quick. Real quick too, guys, this, you know, I've moved to 2 different states in 3 years, so I had to sell off a lot of stuff. I had to pick up a new jigsaw, Ryobi. I think it was under 50 bucks. It's great. You know, it's got a speed dial, which is important. When you're ripping like this, I like it on full power with a finish wood blade. It's got a light on it. You can tilt it left and right for angle cuts. It's working great. I also got their circular saw, which I think was 50 bucks, and their palm sander, which I'm on the fence with this right now. I thought it would tear the wood down and make it even a little bit quicker, but I'm a novice. Maybe I was expecting too much from it. Okay, let me cut this real quick for you. Oh. Heads up. There we go. Okay, kill myself. The sawdust gets slippery. Now I like it on full power, but just because it's on full power doesn't mean you have to go fast. So watch your ears, guys. Here we go. Oh. Well, on my head, stupid. There we go. Let's get some safety glasses on. For this last little bit where the clamp's in the way, you can just reclamp it on this side. I'm comfortable with just holding it and finishing up that little bit. All right, and there we go. Let's take a look at when you're hurrying. This is the one I rushed through. And oh, look at that. See how crazy that is? So just take your time. You don't have to have a table saw. You know, it'll work just fine. All right, guys, I'm going to keep going. Iron girls, I'm going to keep going on the lid. Hopefully take that strap off because that's been about an hour or more that it's been, the glue's been drying and the board is warped out. We'll see if it holds. I'm hoping it does. If not, I'll put a piece of wood underneath. I'll figure something out. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, welcome back. We're all done. Let me show you the last few things I had to do. I got it all set up. You know, I measured mine to fit that nook just right, but again, you can make it any size you want. So, I built the box for the top. So I just stripped down the height that I needed out of the 1x4s. You know, I went a little bit big to leave myself a little wiggle room. So when I put the screws in, on the back side of this, I had to put some shims in there for it to seal properly. So what I had laying around was a yardstick, and I cut little 3-inch, you know, little 3-inch sections and put them behind this screw with a washer on the other side, so it would make sure that it seals just right. So I finished up that, and then down here, I just came up just like about an inch or so, about an inch and a half here, because I knew the wheels would lift it higher. I think overall I ended up at about 39 inches, 39 inches tall, which is a great height for it. You don't want to be bent over while you're trying to make your cocktails. You know, you just make more of a mess that way. Having it up higher is really nice. So I brought this up. The wheels are underneath here. I made little platforms underneath just to help hide them a little bit more. It makes it harder to get at the wheel locks, but I don't see myself using them a lot. And then I went with the 1x2s, then the 1x4s every other one, which I thought gave it a really nice look. And then the last thing I had to do was the drain. So this is all 1/2 inch. I found this, which was great. I got this at Lowe's, or Home Depot, excuse me. You could cut it down to the size you need, because I just didn't know how many inches I was gonna need to get out to the other side. So that worked out really good. Let me just slide it out here. I did leave the top removable also. I don't see any reason not to, just in case I ever had to do anything or get at anything. The top is loose. So then what I did was, you know, just a little hose drain. I like these better instead of having a crank. This is just open and closed. I think they're just easier to use. And then I just threaded, this was like 3 more sections long. Went through, threaded this on first with some Teflon, Then put some Teflon on the other end, threaded that on, and then I took some clear silicone and silicone around here so it wouldn't leak. And that's it, guys. It's done. Came out great. I'm really, really happy with the results. And stay tuned, because the next one, I already built it, but what I'd like to show you how to build is that bar. And in all honesty, that was easier to build than this last project. I pretty much built this whole entire bar with a circular saw, a pencil, a square, a tape measure, and a drill, you know, and I pretty much built this whole thing with that. Didn't need many tools at all. I built it to match these chairs that we already had. Came out great. My finish isn't the best, but there's a little shelf back here. The great thing about this is when I built it, I ended up designing it because, you know, a lot of times you don't want to build something like that because you got to move it. But the top comes off, the sides come off, then the base folds back. That shelf behind the bar folds up, the base folds back. And me and Fawn pulled this out of the back of my truck and set it up, just the two of us. So it completely dismantles for having, if you move or, you know, want to take it somewhere or sell it, whatever the case may be, it's really easy to move, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So stay tuned to the channel so you can check that one out too. Thank you for checking this out. Hopefully it'll inspire you to go ahead and try building something like this. It's the first time I've ever built anything like this. This and that bar are like the first two things I've ever built in my life. Like, that wasn't just doing some framing or some shelves or something like that. So if I could do it, you definitely could do it. So stay tuned and we'll do a little video on that bar and how I did that. And thanks for watching, guys. Take care.